And hello and welcome to That Karate Podcast number 3. My name's Liam Gallagher.
And I'm
Mark Slattery.
And you are? What's your name, Sean?
John McLaren.
Thank you very much. And with us today is Ali Nyoni Sensei, who is taking part today, which is great to have you, Ali Sensei. It's great to have you along. Just give a quick background on Ali Nyoni Sensei, who's with us today. He is a 5th Dan black belt. He is a world and European Goju-Ryu champion. He's also the British, Scottish, European, and Zimbabwean champion. Good grief. He's represented both Zimbabwe and England at various international events, including 4 WKF World Championships for Zimbabwe. He has also coached a university team to 3 British University Championships. And he is also the current English Karate regional coach for the EKF and is also a WKF accredited coach. Wow. Feel a bit inadequate there, to be quite frank. It's nice to have you along today. And I've done nothing. I've done nothing at all. So we've got Ali on today. We're going to have a wee chat about some different bits and bobs. Ali is also a representative for Tokaido karate uniform. So we're going to discuss today, our kind of podcast today is about gis and equipment and how it's developed over the years and how much stuff there is now. But we'd also like to have a wee chat with Ali and introduce, if you don't already know Ali Nyoni Sensei, introduce you to him. And there's lots of questions we would like to know. The guys and I would like to kind of know what your kind of background, Ali Sensei, and how you get started and how you've developed through your karate days. So, Sean, do you want to kick off the questions?
Of course, yeah. So we ask every kind of guest that we have, how long have you been training, Sensei, and kind of what got you started with karate?
How long have I been training? I'm trying to find out my age or what? Okay, all right. Yeah, I think I've been this year is close to about 33 years, I think.
Wow. Started when he was 2.
I'd say about 29 is official training, proper official training. The other 3 or 4, it was a bit more what we used to call bush karate, like, where we'd gather as lads and start fighting and copy what we see in the movies.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So yeah, about 33 years in total this year. And did you say how did I get started?
Yeah, so kind of what got started, obviously you touched on it there regarding the bush karate, and you and your friends got to meet and copied the movies, but kind of what really got you into karate and what's kept you going?
Okay, so where I was born, I was born in Zimbabwe, and I grew up in a bit of a rough area, bit of a ghetto. It's not too extreme like some of those ones we see in Brazil or something, but it's you had to learn a bit of self-defense to protect yourself and also your family. So we used to go around to the bushes to just get to learn something, because it was very important to protect yourself when approached. You could get kicked for anything. You get harassed by bullies around the street because you're wearing nice trainers, or you're just you've got something in your house. You have to learn to fight.
Of course.
So it was more of a self-defense thing that got me started than anything else, to be honest.
So, sorry, carry on.
No, you just you.
So what kind of got you into from that, which is obviously you use karate, you learn martial arts for self-defense and protect yourself. So what got you onto the kind of competition route and the WKF route?
So, all right, as it became official, right, as I started off in doing bush karate training, that sort of thing, yeah. as it became more and more official, right? I got involved with clubs that compete as well. I was a JKA member for many years. Like that's where I started, like JKA Shotokan, and I started competing at an early age as well, and like I used to enjoy a lot of like traveling around to different cities in where I was born, and would compete and meet a lot of friends. Yeah, I mean WKF wise, I think I was mostly into JKA rules to start with anyway.
So you started Shobu Ippon, you started more
Shobu Ippon, yeah. Shobu Ippon is a thing that quite hard stuff. I think Shobu Ippon is not an easy thing, like those guys used to hit hard as well, like with all those sometimes no pads, and at the time there was no pads and no gum shield. And growing up in Zimbabwe as well, we never used to afford like mitts or gum shields or something like that, and we would just get into the competition and fight without any of that. Maybe we'll have one team will have one pair of one pair of mitts. Would swap it around, the whole team.
Wow. Yeah, just they'd be sweaty at the end. I would like to be the last guy on the team with that.
Well, we never thought about that, Liam Sensei. We just thinking about fighting all the time.
Yeah, of course.
No tatami as well. Would fight on the floor, on the hard floor. So it was all good, but then with time things evolved and changed. But I think by the time I left, it was a lot better from the time that I started. But it's still right now, because I'm still in touch with the Zimbabwean guys. I'm still involved with the Zimbabwe national team, and I've got lots of connections there. And I think it's still a bit of a struggle there, to afford to go to travel for competitions and to afford like equipment. It's not easy.
Sensei, you've obviously been doing karate for a long time. I mean, you won some amazing awards and you've done really well in your karate career so far. I mean, what's kept you motivated through your karate journey so far?
Motivation, right? I think what has kept me motivated is like being in the present. just live in the present and not to worry much about what's going to happen tomorrow, the future, and not to worry as well about what happened yesterday. Or I try, and I've always done this from an early age, like set little goals and then try and work towards those achievable goals that you can like, okay, fine, today, this competition that I'm going to now, I only need to score a point, right? 1 point, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about that, just reminded me that, when a few years ago, when I started competing in the K1 events, I think the first couple or so that I went to, I found it so hard that, you don't get a point in K1. It's so hard. The refereeing system is not easy. Mm. So I did set myself a goal to say, okay, fine, I'm not going to give up, right? I got to keep on like going, but I got to be realistic on what I want to do. So I set myself a goal to say, well, I need to score 1 point only. I don't need to, all I need to do is like a referee to give me a point. So I think I went to the Paris Open. I managed to score a reverse punch, Gyakuzuki in 4 flags. 4 flags. I was like, whoa. Let it finish now. I didn't care whether the guy scores like 9 points after that, but all I wanted was like to score a point, which was great. So I achieved my goal. Some people would look at it and say, oh, but you lost like maybe 9-1, but although I didn't lose 9-1,
Yeah.
But some people would look at it, oh, he lost. But you know what? I was happy inside, and I don't care what people say. I'm happy because I've achieved my goal. So the next step is like, setting, all I'm saying is like, you got to set yourself goals here and there. And that has motivated me throughout. I've like kept on like, I achieved this goal. Maybe the next one, I'll try and win a fight. Yeah. At the next competition, I'll try and win the fight. Maybe the next time I try and get somewhere else. It's just little goals that I set myself one step at a time. And nothing complicated to say I want to win the world championship, because if you do that, there's a lot of unnecessary pressure to you. I find there's a lot of unnecessary pressure on you. Yeah, and the other thing as well is like not talking about points, competition, all the time, but going into the setup, the people around you. I'm thinking about my family. I've got a fantastic family here in the UK. They've always been there. They've supported me, my wife and my 2 kids. They've always like been there to support me. And every time I go away, the wife may not like it, but it puts in a bit of pressure as well to say, okay, fine, if I go away to compete or to coach, I've got to bring back something. So I try and do my best, but they are supportive in terms of like food, everything. It's all done. She's very happy doing stuff, and that's a family as well as good friends around. I've got very, very good friends. I've been lucky, when I moved from Zimbabwe to the UK, that I've been in touch with excellent people around. People like Stephen Chan and a lot of guys around. They're very supportive. If you see a lot of people around you that are supportive towards your objectives, to me that motivates you to like, what, let me do something to like, to be in tune with everyone. We've got the same objective. Let's try and work together towards that.
How did you get to meet Stephen Chan? We know Stephen Chan. I've trained with him. I hope to we'll want to get him on here at some point actually. But how did you get to know Stephen Chan, Hanshi?
I've known Stephen Chan for a long time. He used to come to Zimbabwe, or he goes to Zimbabwe every year, I think. Apart from last year, I think. I used to train with a guy called Paul Danisa in Zimbabwe. We were in the national squad together. So when I was in JKA, right? When I was in JKA, I grew up in a town called Gweru, where practicing JKA. But when I got a job and moved into a different city, into the main capital city, Harare, I started to train with these guys, Paul Danisa, Douglas, and a lot of other guys that were not JKA, but we were in the national team together. So these guys were Seido Khan at the time, which does a bit of Shorin-ryu somehow. And Stephen Chan would come every year to support these guys and grade them every year. And there were guys of my age, and we used to stick around all the time. And every time Stephen came around, I'll get into his seminars, which was something so unusual. Like if you are a different association, different style. JKA at the time never wanted you to, they thought they were the best. they thought they were the best, so it never allowed you to train with somebody else from different style. But when Steven came in, I would train, and I had friends. Those guys were just my friends. I can't, I can't just teach them to do because I'm JKA. So yes. That's how I met Steven Chan, and then from there we just kept communications. When I came here, he supported me into settling up here and settling down here, and he did a lot of stuff for me. He's an amazing guy, Steven Chan. He introduced me to a lot of people, and great guy, Steven.
Right, Sean, what's your question?
Yeah. So, for obviously, Sensei Mark said you've had a very kind of decorative competition career, Sensei. Is there any kind of highlights that stick out for you, whether it be like going to a certain country or a certain competition that just kind of highlights for yourself your competition career?
Highlights. I think, I've won the European Championships in Goju, Goju, European and World in Goju. But I think that's fairly recent, a few years ago, right? But I think one that I don't forget is when I won the JKA National Championships when I was starting up. I know it was Chobu Ippon, but it was, as I said earlier on, those guys used to hit hard, yeah. And I think I was 18, yeah. I was 18, just coming from the juniors. I had won the previous year junior championships, so I had moved into the seniors now, and got into the seniors. Everyone thought, it's going to be hard. It was really hard, but I managed to be the national champion for the JKA in Zimbabwe. And that day there's a guy called Sensei Edward Mchale. He used to train with Sten Schmidt in South Africa. Yeah. I think he was the highest graded. I think he's one of the highest graded Shotokan people in Africa. Edward Mchale. Very good karate, Edward. So, you were so impressed at the way that I fought that day, and even though I won a little trophy, which was the biggest at the time, yeah, in Zimbabwe. He said, well, this guy is so amazing. He took off his tie. He had a JKA tie, and he took off his tie and said, I'm going to give you this, right? I've kept that tie now all my life. Now, even up to now, I've got that JKA tie. Oh. It reminds me of him, and how of my success. When I was a little kid yeah. So I think that's probably the highest. The highlight for me. The winning the JKA Nationals, Zimbabwe JKA Nationals.
That's a lovely memory. It's a nice sentiment as well. The tie. That's so. What? So when you came to the UK, so how? If you don't mind me asking, how long have you been in the UK now?
I know you're trying to catch me on my age.
No, yeah. I'm not. I know your age. And let me tell you, you're younger than me. And you're absolutely safe, because the only person that gets abuse on this channel is me. Yep. Okay, they're very respectful to the guests. The only person that gets it.
Yeah. So I think I've been here for 20 years now. 20 years this year. Yeah. Yeah. 20 years. Yeah. 20 years.
Because I know from obviously I'm as is pointed out, I am older. When you came into the vet section at the Four Nations, there was a whole crowd of us around the mat, and they all went, "Oh God, it's Ali." The entire section went, "Oh God, it's Ali." And I checked the drawers and went, I'll be out before that. That's okay. Because the only time you'll meet is in the semis, and there's no way I'm going to make it to the semis at the Four Nations. So, and I watched you just chew through everybody, just all the way through. So it's an amazing story coming from, as you say, a rough area in Zimbabwe, literally traveling across the world. You know, building your karate career through there, you're developing and evolving, coming to the UK. It's an amazing story. It's quite an inspirational story. Like, we were really interested to hear it. What's next? What's your plans next? You say you've got goals. What's your next goals?
I think, you know, I'm not getting any younger, you know, but I think.
No, you're getting younger. I'm not getting any younger. You look fine.
I'm not getting any younger.
Every time I see you, you look about 5 years younger.
What's your secret?
Could you please share?
I've learned a lot, and ever since I came to the UK, right? You know, I've learned a lot. I've traveled a lot, something that I'd never done growing up, you know, because we couldn't afford traveling that much, you know, as a family. So, you know, I've been to Malaysia. I've been all around, you know, the world, you know, competing all around Europe as well, like competing and coaching as well. So I think one thing that, you know, I've seen throughout, you know, my travels is like, you know, I think, you know, you learn a lot from different people all the time. You and you know, you sort of like relate to where you come from. I've been in touch with my Zimbabwean people from ever since I left. I never stopped thinking about my Zimbabwean family or my Zimbabwean friends all the time. But as I said, you know, it's being fortunate, you know, to be here in the UK with all the resources that we have here. You know, we are so lucky in the UK. What next for me, you know, is to, like, you know, all these travels, I've acquired a lot of knowledge around, and especially in karate. You know, it is karate that has driven me into traveling, actually, mostly traveling around. I think I need to get more involved into, like, coaching and passing on the knowledge around to all those around me, you know, and all those kids, some of those kids that, you know, I found that you know, from where I was born, you know, if I can do something about it, like, you know, support them somehow, to get to where I am, you know, to get too close to where I am, you know, in terms of, like, you know, I would say, like, getting equipment, one, and getting their karate up the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So I am trying as much as possible to keep in touch again with them and sending up information each time. Here in the UK, I've slowed down on my competing. I'm concentrating a little bit more now.
And Mark's relieved.
I think I'm concentrating a little bit more now on coaching. You know, I've seen some amazing coaches, like, you know, Liam Sensei. You know, he's a great guy. You know, he's very organized, well organized.
Did I get a compliment there on this channel?
You know,
thank you, Ali Sensei.
I think coaching is where I'm heading to. You know, I've you know, traveling around. You know, I've gone to Champions Dojos a lot of times with Junior Lefebvre, where I've had the opportunity to see some of the top coaches, like Anthony Nikolin, the Ukrainian coach, and I've managed to train with them. I've managed to train with some champions like Noah Beach, and, you know, I've seen a lot, and every time I go around, you know, I've got a notebook. I've been writing a lot of, like, notes and videos. I need to pass that on to somebody.
Yeah.
So it's coaching that I'm, like, interested in passing on the knowledge going forward.
So you're now launching your dojo proper. I know you've always been teaching, but now you're actually stepping in properly as an instructor. I mean, we've had you in Scotland as an instructor. Sean and I trained with you. Kenny Davis Sensei brought you up, and were you there that day, Sean? We went over.
I think you just kind of
trained. Never forget on that wooden floor. Oh, I'm sore. And then obviously I've had you at the Senjukai as well, coaching. So you've obviously got a lot there, but you're going to actually build a dojo proper and start establishing yourself.
Yes. So I'm an aerospace engineer by aerospace engineer, come mechanical engineer, come analyst, right? So that's my other professional background. But karate is my passion. It's something that I love. So all throughout this time I was like doing karate just like part-time here and there, part-time, but I had my work going on in the background. But I managed to open a small club. We currently do have a small club, but I'm looking to expand a lot more into teaching, a lot more, especially into schools, young people, like primary school level, to build my coaching profile. And I also, as you said earlier on, I've been fortunate enough to get involved in coaching, doing some seminars for the Senjukai guys, and amazing team, Senjukai. Throughout lockdown, I've been doing some online sessions, and the Senjukai have been very, very supportive. I've got various students from different universities that I teach. I also teach at two universities, actually, University of Bath and University of West England.
Wow.
So we tend to assemble through that online session on every Thursday, where we get anyone to come in to join. But it's expansion of coaching anyway. It's expansion of my coaching that I need to look at.
Listening to all the things you do, no wonder your wife is very supportive. So between the two universities, you're building your own club, you do your online coaching, you travel and do courses, plus you were competing, plus you had a proper job. That's I don't know how I'm more impressed with you or the wife.
I need to know your secrets. I need to know.
You need to tell Mark. No point telling me. You need to tell Mark.
I think karate comes first. Karate is the best. For me, karate is best. I think if a lot of people do karate, I think the world would be a much safer place, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
All these kids that are being bullied around, you listen to the news, there are kids that are being bullied around. There's a lot of abuse going on, young girls. It's not good, man. It's not good. With karate, you've got that discipline. Karate gives you the discipline and the belief, the self-confidence. It is important that everyone does karate.
It's a life skill. Yeah, I agree. We've talked about this. I think it's a life skill. For me, it's as important as learning to swim.
But it's not just about kicking and punching, is it? It's just like say we spoke about this before. There's so many things that it does offer. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Ali Sensei. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, it's yeah.
Well, we're now going to move on to the next bit, which is we're going to talk about kit and uniforms. And I know you've got a bit of a vested interest here, Ali Sensei. You are a rep for Tokaido, is that correct?
Yes, I'm the official distributor in the UK for Tokaido karate equipment. Tokaido, the best. It's
I said a disclaimer at the start of this. I get a lot of Hirota stuff, and I know Koichi. Don't know him well, but he knows my face, which means I spend too much money with Hirota. So I need to be careful here, or next time I'm over in Japan, I'll get beaten up. So we're just kind of talking the development over the years of equipment, and a really good start point, I think, is we've got a friend called Mark Williams, who, when we put this up, we asked the question, what kind of kit have you got? What kind of uniforms do you wear? What do you? And he says, in my house, we have a heavy one and a light one. Does that help? And that kind of shows you how karate suits have changed over the years. So it's kind of, the kit's kind of weird. So obviously you're a Tokaido dude. So what's your kind of favorite uniform and kit? If you give us your sales pitch.
Everyone in lights on. What's my favorite type?
What do you wear? What do you wear when you're competing? Or when you're training? What's your favorite kit?
Well, I've tried all sorts of brands. Like, I'm not going to mention names, but we've done.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
I've tried all brands, and I've been sponsored, by other brands before when I was fighting around. But Tokaido, to me, is the best. Is in the sense that this is the most traditional. I think the oldest karate suit. I think since 1956 they've been distributing Tokaido for competition, and for normal traditional karate. So if you go to any Shotokan club, I think you will talk about equipment. I think the first thing they'll mention is Tokaido. There's been other brands that have come on the way, but Tokaido is the best quality. To be honest, they are very reliable. They're not like see-through uniforms. Like there's some see-through uniforms that you see zero gravity, or I don't know what they call.
The first time I put on a Kimiti gi, because obviously we came from a Shubwebbo background, and you just didn't wear a Kimiti gi in a Shubwebbo background.
One gi.
Yeah, you had one gi, and it was white. It was whatever your sensei was selling. And I remember the first time I put on a Kimiti gi, I felt a bit exposed. I apologise for that vision, people. I just felt a bit. I'm sorry. I apologise.
The words there.
Nobody. I just get that vision out of your head. But it just felt. Although I quite like them now. Yeah. To be honest, but as you say, there's traditional gis, and there's more now. You've got now the more kind of WKF Kimiti gis and specific kinds of gis, and then you've got specific WKF body equipment, and you've got hand protectors, and you've got it. And when I started, you had, as you said earlier on, Ali says, when I started, you had a white suit, hand pads, and a gum shield. And if you were sensible, you had a groin guard, and that was it. There was a lot of Maigeri used back then, Sean. And Sean's going, no. Back then, there was a lot of Maigeri used, and not everybody can kick. A groin guard was essential.
I wish I would wear a groin guard, but I was just, for me personally, you should always wear a groin guard, always. But I just find it very, very uncomfortable.
I feel this conversation is very uncomfortable. Carry on, Mark.
I will question that about wearing groin guards, because I know of a story that, again, there was a lot of low Maigeris. I'll tell you about another time. But someone did a Maigeri, and the groin guard snapped, and it was open for a period of second, and then it closed, and then something got caught in at that time. So wearing a groin guard isn't the best, I don't think.
I saw that happen once as well. Somebody went for a kind of mawash, and the guy just slammed in a yoko, and the guy looked like being poleaxed. and every man in the room crossed his legs. It's a bad one. But even the women went, oh. He slid. He was on the deck.
Yeah. So I mean, Tokaido, we got like all made in Japan karate gis, like proper old school karate gis made in Japan gis that are good for kata, and then we still have like kumite gis as well. That is not as light as what Sensei Liam has been saying, but very, very good quality. Some as the hand pads and foot pads, JKA hand pads. We still sell them, JKA hand pads.
It seems to be in Japan. There's a split between the likes of, we've got the Shiraido, which is more kind of Okinawan styles. You've got Tokaido, which is more the kind of JKA groups, and then you've got Hirota, which seems to be the kind of split JKA groups. So JKA, it's a kind of weird. I mean, I'm trying to think of the gis I've worn over the years.
So many gis.
So many. I've actually looked in my cupboard and I went, I've got Arawaza. I've got the new Arawaza Black Diamond. I had the amber for kata competition. I had the diamond. Doesn't make my kata any better. It's just.
Didn't you have the Eva?
I've tried every karate suit going. My karate's still rubbish.
Was it the Eva as well that you've got? Is it Liam?
I don't have. I've got a Shiraido Committee gi just now, but I didn't like it. I don't.
Well, you try Tokaido, right? Your kata will be better.
Is that a guarantee?
Does it come with magic? Does it?
I'm gonna have a look after this, Ali Sensei at Tokaido. I'm after a gi or two, so I'm gonna have a look.
That's another story for guy.
It's gonna make my kumite and kata better, definitely. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a miracle I need. It's not a kata gi. But again, the likes of body armor. What's your views on body armor, lads? The WKF body armor.
I'll happily go first here. We came from a show biathlon background as well, so you were talking about sharing hand pads. The first we'll call it a sport competition that we went to. Myself and Liam were sharing with another gentleman. For the body armor was sharing.
I didn't share. I went upstairs and bought my own.
we shared the shinning insteps, and I think we had hand pads, but it was just like pulling it off. It was so bad because all three of us were fighting in the exact same event. So it was like, quick, get ready, next one. And then Liam was up, and then the other gentleman was up. I understand why, and I think my daughter competing, I make sure she's got one on. She hates it. It's uncomfortable, but for her, I think it's important for kids. And anything to help lessen the blow of a kick or a punch, I think is important. But for me and the seniors, it doesn't make a difference. When I get kicked or when I get punched, it doesn't make it any less, honestly. And it is very, very uncomfortable. But I think they're important, and obviously they're essential. And I think for that reason, anything to help kind of lessen the blow. We were kind of talking about it last week about kind of increasing that competition experience. And if you go in and you get smashed the first time, you're not going to really enjoy it. Whereas anything with the hand pads, the bigger hand pads, the shinning insteps and the body armor makes it a bit more enjoyable for especially younger kids as well, I think.
And older kids.
I mean, I haven't actually worn a body armor during a competition, a competition. I haven't actually done that yet. I know obviously I'd have to at some point, but I have worn a body armor during like a training. So when you're doing a kumite lesson. And I just find it really difficult to wear. I find that I just get really, really hot, and I find it just harder. And I don't really think they work really. I mean, it sort of like spreads the pain. If that makes sense, instead of it being in one lump, you sort of feel it. So I mean, I haven't used them for competition, but I don't like them. I don't like them. No, I think for ladies, it's important that they wear them, but Nah,
when Sean was just kind of, I don't know if it's the same day or maybe it's maybe the competition after. It was the first. I was at the first Four Nations I went to, and they made the body armor compulsory. But obviously I was a vet at the time, so all the vets were like, "We don't want it. We don't know. We don't need to wear it." And they're like, "No, you have to wear it." And I was like, "Are you kidding?" So I ran up to, I think it's Simon from Ireland.
Yeah.
And I went up to my card. I went, "Any body armor?" And he went, "I have one last one left." And I went, "How much?" He went, £70. And I went, "Oh, you bastard." So I was like, "Oh, you bastard." So I gave him this, like, I came down the stairs. And it was a similar situation that Sean was saying. There was only one other guy had body armor. And he was pulling, and it sounded like suction. Because you sweat a lot in them. So he pulled it up and was like, and the next guy put it on. Yeah. It was horrible. And then he puts it on. And it was like, I mean, I managed to make it through 3 or 4 rounds. And it was horrible after 3-4 rounds sweating. And it was like, so after this thing must have done about 20 rounds. to the last person. I could have stood up and done a kata. I could have got on the mats and done an unsu. It was horrific.
Did you give it a wipe down, put it back in the plastic bag, and then get your money back?
This doesn't fit. Ignore the smell. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I did it. I just looked at him and he's a glint in his eye. He went £70, and I was like,
yeah. The thing is that I think, as Sean said, they're quite important. I think for especially modern day karate. You know, we've got to wear protective equipment. You know, modern day karate, and it sort of like give you a bit of like sense of like security that you're fine. It's not going to hurt. Even though it hurts, you know, even if they punch you and kick you hard, it's gonna hurt. And
I think you've got a duty of care, haven't you? I mean, if you're running a competition, you have a duty of care to protect the competitors.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing that I use, right, when I'm coaching, right, the other thing is, you know, because when you coach people, like, you know, sometimes when they go into the ring, they forget everything that they've been doing. Yeah. You know, if you've been practicing jab and then attack, you know, they get into the ring, they forget what you've been coaching. But what I use them for when I'm coaching is I tell them, you know what, you got to write notes in your meets, for example, like this, yeah. I always say, well, you know what, underneath, right, you know, I've got believe there, yeah. I got believe there, and you know, F and F, forget and focus, yeah. So
I was wondering where that was going there.
so you get punched, you get punched and forget everything. You know, you need to like check under your mitts, yeah. You know, check under your mitts.
That's
cool. Yeah. Forget the board. Focus on the next move. You know, they're good notebooks. You know.
I never thought.
For me,
Sean puts L and R on his.
no, that's not true. On mine, I go block, you dummy. Remember to block.
Yeah.
There's so much choice now in gis. I mean, literally, when I started, there was, I think it was like 2 companies in the world that made karate suits. And now it's like, I saw the WKF accreditation the other day, Sean, you were talking about it. The fact that one of the, like, Hirota wasn't on it. They hadn't posted it, and they were sanctioned, they just hadn't put it up. But I actually looked at the list, and there's like 30.
Yes, because with the WKF, you know, they make a lot of money out of it as well. You know,
Allegedly.
You know, official, you know, official equipment. But you know, all this equipment is the same. If you closely look at it, except Tokaido, but you know.
He's good. He's good. He's good. You got to give him his due. He's on the ball here. Okay, here's one for you. Name a gi you've bought that you didn't like. There we go. Remember, it's your own opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion.
I don't mind going first for this one, to be honest.
There you go, Sean.
For me, I've just recently in the last few years got Arawaza gis, and I think that's between Arawaza and Hirota for myself. I've only had Arawaza, Hirota, and Blitz, and whatever gi my instructor gave me when I first started. I don't even know. I think Blitz for me, for the price and value, I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest. So I've had in my own opinion, I still buy Blitz gis. I've not competed in Blitz gis.
So you did buy Blitz gis, yeah?
Oh yeah, that way that's sanctioned. You're at the Blitz thing, man. That was
No. Honestly, my students still ask for a gi, and if you're competing, I would go up higher, maybe Arawaza, obviously Tokaido. I've got Hirota for teaching as well. But for the kind of younger, my daughter, she wears a Blitz Kumite gi as well, she enjoys it, she loves it. It's loose and it's not as thin as the Arawaza gis. So, but for me, I think a Blitz gi. Depends what one you buy as well, to be honest. You know, I'm
backtracking there. He's backtracking. He's doing a good job. He's been walking like Michael Jackson there. I appreciate that. That's good.
I think it's good for me to just step in now because I'm a little bit there with Sean. Blitz is probably not the gi that I like the best. I mean, yeah. I had a white diamond. So I had the basic gi when I first started, and then I got to like brown belt, and obviously I had like, you know, it was here and here. I completely outgrown it, and then I thought, my sensei said, you need to go up to the next gi, and I think it was either a choice between silver tournament and then white diamonds. Yeah. I think the white diamond at the time was the better gi, so I went for that one. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it was just so heavy. It was just, you know, you've got like an Arawaza gi that's really light. You know, you got your Hirota Pinak, you know, it's like right in the middle, and then you just got something that's really like that. It almost felt like getting on, and I just didn't like it. It was just too heavy. Even tying it up, they're big clumpy things, and but they've brought out another range. I mean, my students have been using them now, Blitz Odachi, and they are right in the middle. Yeah, and for value for money, they're great. I think they're good starting gi, unless you want to pay the £200-300 for, you know, the big names, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think for, as you say, a starting gi, the Adachi, I've got one as well, and I'm teaching that sometimes as well. But for the starting out or for the younger members, sometimes an Arawaza and Hirota is just too much money, you know. So I think you're right there. I think you kind of touched that correctly.
This is one we're going to follow out with a big podcaster and a big broadcaster here on YouTube. The Saishin gi. Or the Saishin gi. That was the biggest letdown of gi I've ever had in my life.
Saishin?
I did. Is it, what's his name? The young fella?
Jesse.
I mean, I liked a lot of his stuff. He does beat up Shotokan quite a bit, but we'll not go there.
Yeah.
But he's I got his gi. I went to a course with him and actually enjoyed his course, and gives me a discount code for the gi. And I got the gi through and I put it on. The first time wear it was okay, but just maybe it was, I know they've done a new one since, but I didn't think it was great. I thought they were pitching their price up with the likes of Tokaido, Hirota, Arawaza, but I don't think it followed through with the quality, to be honest. I think I told you that at the time, Sean, didn't I? Got it and I just didn't like it. It felt like, I don't know,
I've got three. I've bought 3 section gis. What I don't like is the high waist. I don't know if I just don't like it. Just didn't feel right. It was up here somewhere.
Well, you get the likes of the Arawaza Black Diamond categories. I know you don't wear the likes of these, but they're high waist, and it holds a belt in place, which I don't have an issue with. I just didn't like the feel of it. And after 2 or 3 washes, it just never seemed to hold together. The one, the Blitz Odachi gi, not the Odachi, the white diamond you're talking about, it was great out the packet.
Yeah.
And then you had to iron it.
Oh.
You're ironing for 2 hours for an hour class.
That was a job my mum. Used to give that to my mum.
I don't want to be too critical, about this because I'm in the business, but I've heard a lot of comments like similar to what you guys have said about Blitz. I see people write comments after buying a gi and like, oh, I've been wearing a Blitz for the past 20 years. I've never, they buy a Tokaido. They're like, wow, I've never worn something like this before. This is well above what I've been wearing. But as Sean said, right, as Sean said, it's good for beginners because of the price, mainly because of the price, but maybe not for intermediate going up.
They're decent entry level suits, aren't they? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, before Blitz comes and sues us, I've spent a fortune in Blitz the last couple of months. Sean spent a fortune in Blitz. Mark spent a fortune in Blitz. Before they come hunting, you're giving you money.
No, I used to order my suits from Blitz and get them embroidered. So I've ordered hundreds and hundreds of suits from Blitz through the years for my students. I just used to order them and we used to get them embroidered with the badge, and they used to send them over. So it's not, as Ali Sensei, you said there, it is price, and you get what you pay for it, like everything else in life, I guess, isn't it? I think
it's because we're picking the worst gi at our level, like,
of course.
And like the White Diamond compared to like a Arawaza, Hirota, they are different, but yeah.
Yeah, but Arawaza, right? Arawaza, I remember in 2016 at the World Championships in Austria, they gave us, free gis, like, free gis for all national teams. And they were ripping off, right, during the competition, like, slight contact or something, they were ripping off. There's a lot of them that were ripping off. It was zero gravity at the time, right? The zero gravity one, and I think they had to recall all of them. But even now, sometimes you get for what you pay for. Like you get Arawaza gi that costs like what, £200. That deer, they're not cheap. The Arawaza Kumite, especially the Kumite gis as well. But the quality is not all that. Maybe it's the name. I think they're good at advertising and they attract the big names up there, and people buy it because they've seen top athlete wearing it.
Yeah, just
as a competition, you're starting to see that sponsorship coming in. That was never a thing before. Yeah. But as you say, that's starting to come in. But as you say, with WKF trying to put on, if you don't using the word, the show that they're doing with the big events, etc., they need that sponsorship and that kind of money coming in from the likes of, football does it. Nobody bats an eyelid. Rugby does it. Tennis does it. Nobody else complains. But I suppose they need to start bringing that kind of sponsorship in and using gis and uniforms and doing it that way is a way to kind of, as you said, keep the money coming in to kind of put the show on, as it were. So I found a change when I had to go from the fabric hand pads to the bumper mitts. Yeah. We used to call them bumper mitts. That was the weirdest thing because, especially with show blip on, because you had to reprogram because you were hitting from skin contact, but you were going and some poor soul, you get that much extra padding on, and somebody's head was snapping back every time I came in with a kazami or a yak. So that took a bit of adjustment as that kind of stuff changed. But I don't think I'd go back now, to be honest. No, the equipment.
I mean, go back to
bare knuckle.
Oh.
The old way.
Not with these looks, guys. I need to.
I think something that's improved now. How I was always a big fan of Moashigiri roundhouse kick to the body, and you used to always hit elbows and everything else you always hit, and apart from the part you were aiming for, So when the shinning insteps came in, I don't think they're uncomfortable. I actually don't mind them, to be honest. It's obviously just takes me 10 minutes to try and velcro them up. But now I can put a roundhouse kick in and not worry about hitting an elbow or anything. I like the shinning insteps. That's a big factor for me. I enjoy that because I can't kick to the head. So the body kicks is only kick.
Excuse me, you kicked a guy in the head at the JKS World Championships, and I don't know who was more surprised, you or the guy you kicked. he actually came off and looked at me because I was the coach's chairman. I didn't know he could do that, and I went, neither did he.
He was only that side, to be fair.
No, he wasn't. He was a tall dude. You were up on your tippy toes, but you got there. Can I tell this story? When we transitioned over from Show Weapon style to the WKF style, Sean, you know the story I'm going to tell, Sean? All right, so there's a video clip somewhere. I don't know if Stevie Sensei's got it. There is a video clip of Sean. It was absolute, and the way we move and compression from show weapon to the kind of bouncing movement, the plyometric movement in WKF is completely different. Yeah. So Sean was just in that transition point. You can do it fine now. Like I'm just, I'm not a case. All right, you're better. And it was brand new mats. I think it was at the Emirates in Glasgow.
It was the BKF Full Nations at the Emirates.
It wasn't like it's a small stage or anything. It was like one of the major championships in the UK. And Sean was on it, but Sean was trying to kind of push off, but the mats were really slippy and he wasn't used to the foot pads, and he was literally like Bambi on ice. He literally...
Yes. The guy who I was fighting was like, what's happening?
I think I'm going to breathalyze you because you were... Because you kept going from it and slipping and foot. Yeah, it's like somebody ran in, some ghost ran in and ashed behind you. You just fell over. The guy's like, I didn't touch him. And it was 2 minutes of, for me, it was 2 minutes of joy. It was just 2 minutes with me just eating popcorn. Wait. It
happened recently, actually, a couple of years ago in Sweden as well, when we were competing in Sweden in the seniors event, and we got put in the brand new mats as well. And again, I was just sliding. Every time I tried to move forward, my both feet were just either this way or they both went the same way. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun.
Well,
but thanks for bringing me up, Liam, and then putting me back down. Thanks very much.
Well, we've got to pick on someone, haven't we?
Wait a minute. It's usually me. Last week you had a video of me. Last minute you had a video of me as an inflatable dinosaur, big man. So it's war. It's war now.
I've got a question for all three of you. What's your favourite training aid? With something that you use when you're training? You know what I mean, right? So, what's your favourite training aid? Your favourite training aid?
Resistance bands.
You're glad someone got it.
I saved you, Mark. You were starting to go a bit red there. We were letting you sweat. Resistance bands. We trained with Saka Sensei years ago, and he used resistance bands. But obviously we're JKS and trained with Kanayama Sensei, and resistance bands makes you want to cry. But I think that kind of working with resistance bands is amazing help, regardless whether you do Kihon, kata, or Kimite drills. Having that resistance, that ability, just to build that kind of plyometric explosive movement. That's been the most basic things. They're difficult to get, aren't they, Mark? But they're
well, I've been using bicycle inner tubes. So you get them, wash them, and then feed them around together. They're really good. The only thing is you need to make sure you wash them correctly, otherwise you'll end up with a dirty gi.
Is that why, Pete, there's an outbreak of bikes being stolen and looting? You're just running around. Just running around the schools and taking the kids back.
Sensei Ali, what about yourself? Do you enjoy any kind of training aids to help improve?
I think resistance bands are good, right? But I've recently discovered something now, that is becoming a good toy for me. The lights, the resistance, the reaction lights.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. The reaction lights are excellent. Like if you put them up there, and then they're excellent. I don't know if you've got them, Liam.
I haven't. I'll be honest. I've been looking at them, and they're quite pricey.
They are pricey.
Showing cheap. So, a couple of the companies I've looked at like £400-500 for them, and I have considered it.
Yes, they're good for even playing games like in classes, like with kids and all that, right? What I did with mine is I got them from China. I got the cheaper versions. There's some that you get like here in the UK, which quite very, very, very expensive. But I think if you buy them from China, you get them for like half the price.
All right.
They are amazing. they're good. I like them. Yeah. I'll probably send you the link. When.
Yeah,
some
please.
point.
Yeah, definitely.
Sensei Paul has them. He used them for the squad training, for the kids squad training. Layla was even for the warm up. You can put them out in sections and then get them running forwards and backwards. And I've seen them being used on the bob, and you put them on in reactions, different sections and stuff. So
can they take a hit? Can they take a dig?
You'll be fine, Liam. You'll be fine.
Can they?
Yeah. Well, they just like WKF rules, sometimes you don't need to touch.
What's your weapon rules? Bang, 100 pounds. Oh, come on.
Show people you need to go through, but with these ones, they've got a sensor. Like you can stop like 2 centimeters away and pull back. That's.
I need to get some of them. Definitely.
Go up, yeah.
Sean's would be fine because he'd never make it to the target. He just keeps falling over and slipping, and just his would be. What about you, Sean? Did you say your training aid? Your favourite training aid?
A partner, somebody I could hit that doesn't move, preferably. No, I'm joking. Resistance bands, I enjoy the resistance, and I have used the buttons before because they come with a cool app as well, so you can change up the kind of sequence. But I enjoy resistance bands, not during, but definitely after. A couple of years ago, just kind of started going to the gym and had my friend's personal trainer, and we had resistance bands for. I just had one in this hand and one in this hand, and we were just doing Kazami yak and one pulling back, one. And after a few months, I really felt a massive difference when I didn't have them on for movement. But yeah, I think having a kind of pad as well, we've got kick pads for the younger kids, and I think it makes a massive difference, especially at the moment when they weren't allowed to do any kind of contact. We had the kick bags. I think it made a big difference to actually strike something. But yeah, during lockdowns, I've had different kind of training aids. I had my Hoover with a pad on top of my Hoover.
Is there a link for that here as well?
Is there a link for that?
It was a Dyson pad. It's not here anymore. So yeah, I think whatever you can get to improve or to even help create resistance or change up your training sequences definitely helps. But I enjoy the resistance bands. I've ordered some, but I don't know when they're going to arrive.
Me too.
Me too.
I think resistance are good. They are very good resistance band. You don't need weights. You don't need to lift a lot of weights. You can just have a band and do a lot of stuff with it.
I suppose, yeah.
Well, I was in one of the first times I went with Paul Sensei to Tokyo University. I've only been twice. I think it was the first time I went. It was in 2018 with JKS, and we were at Tokyo and we're training, and it was Kagawa Shihan was teaching, and we were all like, "Oh, he's teaching." I can't remember Ducati was teaching, Shinty, I think. And we were training that, and he was like, "Please take a drink of water." And we went, "Oh, thank you, Sensei." We all went for a drink, and then turned around, and Kaneyama Sensei, if you know Kaneyama Sensei, he's standing with 2 handfuls of resistance bands. There was over 200 people in that room from 50 plus countries. They speak in different languages, different cultures. Everybody did this. every single person in the room went, "Oh God, here we go."
Yeah,
I think Matt Price was in the room that day as well. A few of the other. It was just horrific. It was just, but there's so many different things you could do with resistance bands. So many. Yeah. Regardless of as I say, through Kihon, Kata, or Kimiti, there's always something. It's very adaptable and it's relatively inexpensive. So
does Tokaido do resistance band Sensei?
Not yet, but watch this space, yeah.
It's going to be on the phone. Well, guys, I've enjoyed the chat today. It's nice just to get a chat. It's been nice to go to know Ali Sensei a bit better and have a chat and hear your background. It's a very inspirational story, Sensei. You've done so well and you've come so far, and for the sounds of it, you're just getting started. So thank you very much for joining us today on this, whatever this is we do. I don't even know what we call it anymore.
Please come back again, definitely.
Yeah. But we'll need to get you back on at some point as well if you've survived the ordeal of listening to us.
Is there anything you want to add, Sensei? Is there anything? Again, it's a pleasure having you on and catching up. Myself and Sensei we've trained and we managed to have dinner and stuff together, and it's a really nice nice gentleman, as well as an awesome karateka as well. The intensity that you teach and train is unparalleled, to be fair. So is there anything else you want to add, Sensei?
Well, thanks very much, for having me. It's been a pleasure. And I've never done this. This is my first podcast I've ever done. So I might have mumbled a lot, but hopefully
this is our third that you're already better.
And put it right, in the editing. But I think it's been a pleasure. You guys, Senjo Kai have been like so great to me. I've enjoyed teaching there the few times that I've been there. And also Liam Sensei, regarding what I'm trying to achieve right now, the coaching part of it, is I'm trying to I've had meetings with him before, and he's guided me through, and he's giving me the confidence to do it. I've never had anyone guide me like this. So I do copy quite a lot of stuff that Senjo Kai are doing. Hopefully,
better, probably do it better. You'll do it, guaranteed. You'll do it better. Your karate's better. You're better looking. You're younger. You're fitter. You'll be fine.
Hopefully things will work out okay here.
Friends help each other. That's the way we all work. The three of us all from different. Sean's in one part of he's in the other part of Scotland. I'm down the west coast. Mark's in Luton, and friends help each other. That's what you're supposed to do, isn't it? So
we all guide each other.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure, not necessarily in the right direction, but no, I'm sure you'll be incredibly successful. I think you'll be absolutely amazing, and we can't wait to have you come and visit the dojo. Hopefully later on in the year.
Fantastic. Yeah, hopefully. Thank you very much. It's been great.
Thank you, Ali Sensei.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us today, Ali Sensei. Thank you to Sensei Sean, Sensei Mark, and we'll all maybe speak to you next week if we're allowed back on. If Blitz hasn't sued us. Okay. Right. Take care, guys. Enjoy your week. Keep training.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. Bye-bye.
Thank you.